Hi everyone, a very good morning to all of you. First of all, please write in the comment box that audio as well as video both are clear or not. Okay, please write in the comment box that whether the audio and video are clear. Now, so we are meeting after a break. So let's get started with the classes. Now, few things just I want to tell you here. Okay, and please pay attention to these things that I am just now telling you here, guys. That basically the approach that now we are going to use in these particular sessions will be little bit different. How approach is going to be different? Actually, we are going to cover articles more comprehensively, keeping in this particular time that suppose X topic we have discussed. Okay, any dimension questions if can be asked, fine. So we are going to understand that, okay, how many different ways this particular question, this particular topic can be important in the examination, and all in the totality we are going to discuss that. For example, today we have basically this particular today is the World Health Day, and on World Health Day there are multiple articles that has come on health. So what we are going to do, we are going to club all these particular articles, and not only content of this particular article but on health, many other aspects that are there, we are going to see them. Okay, so this is going to be the focus, fine. So let's get started with the today's class. So guys, every class we start with a GS quotation, and today we are going to use quotation from Ernest Hemingway. Ernest Hemingway. So Ernest Hemingway says, about morals, I know only that what is moral is what you feel good after, and what is immoral is what you feel bad after. So only one thing I know about ethics, one thing I know about morals, that what you feel good after. Fine. Now guys, often understand this thing that we cheat. Often we do wrong things. We think that, okay, we have done something great, but actually inside your heart, your conscious tells you that no, you have not done something really great. Okay, so how you feel afterwards, it is a parameter to understand that whether you have done ethical or unethical. So you can use this particular quotation directly in GS paper number 4, ethics, integrity and aptitude. So please note down this quotation. And also one particular thing I want to tell you guys, that ensure that quotations that we are using here, you are keeping them in a kind of a folder or in a notebook, because just reading them every day is not going to solve any purpose. You need to use in examination, and for examination you need to keep it in a particular repository. Now moving on, and first article guys that we are taking from the Hindu newspaper. Actually there are multiple articles that we have in Hindu newspaper today, and all are talking about the health. Now this is one article that we have, that is shaping India's path to inclusive healthcare. So inclusive healthcare and universal healthcare we are going to discuss in this particular article. Then there is another article, gone too soon. Now this particular article talks about the rising suicides and mental health issue we are going to discuss in this particular article. Then third article is implementing universal health coverage. So what is the idea of universal health coverage? What is the idea of universal health coverage? Fine. All that particular thing we are going to discuss here. Then next topic, the next article that we have here, that is private healthcare needs reforms in public interest. So this particular, now when we talk about the healthcare in India guys, healthcare happens to be over privatized. Okay, so we are going to see this particular article. Okay, guys, just please confirm that video is clear to you. Absolutely, is video clear to you? Please tell me. Just guys, give me 1 minute. Okay, guys. Fine. So I hope that everything is clear now. Moving on in this particular direction. So there are these four articles that we have which are talking about the health as a topic, and all these particular dimensions with respect to the health we are going to see here in this particular discussion. Now, before going in this particular topic, first of all, let's take certain basic information with respect to health. Now, when we talk about this particular article is going to be important with respect to the GS paper number 2. So this particular article, it is going to be important with respect to the GS paper number 2. Okay, just a minute. Now, in GS paper number 2, we have the topic of developmental issues, we have topic of social justice, and both of these particular places, the topic of health will be important. Now, when we talk about health, guys, first of all, health in the Supreme Court in Bandhua, Supreme Court in Bandhua Mukti Morcha case, Bandhua Mukti Morcha case, Supreme Court declared that health is included in the domain of Article 21, that is right to life. So in Article 21, right to life, fine, healthcare is included as a fundamental right. Fine. But if we talk about right to health, it is not an explicit fundamental right. It is not an explicit fundamental right. Now, one particular thing might come in your mind, that what is the meaning of this explicit fundamental right? So we have certain examples. For example, Article 21A we have Article 21A. Now, Article 21A explicitly talks about the right to education, So this is an explicit fundamental right. In such a way, we don't have the specific mention of health in any of the article. Now, in this particular capacity, what has happened, Amartya Sen, in this particular capacity, Amartya Sen has suggested that India should provide right to health as an explicit fundamental right. Now, what is the meaning of this particular word, implicit fundamental right and explicit fundamental right? Implicit fundamental right and explicit fundamental right. Implicit is those fundamental rights which are actually inferred from some other right. For example, Article 21 talks about the right to life. But within Article 21, right to dignified life is there, right to clean air is there. Okay, all these things are there. So all these are implicit. Okay, all these are implicit. What is explicit? Explicit is, for example, Article 21A, that is explicit. Okay. Now, further, when we talk about the healthcare, guys, there are certain things that you need to understand. First of all, 7th of April, that is yesterday, it is celebrated World Health Day. First of all, one particular thing, that why 7th April is celebrated as a World Health Day? Because 7th April is the founding day for World Health Organization. Now, World Health Organization advocates the health and well-being for all. Now, when we talk about, guys, World Health Organization, so there is World Health Assembly. Now, World Health Assembly, it is the highest decision-making body. Within the WHO, and it advocated that we should have a specific day marked for the health. And since 1950, specifically 7th April is being observed as World Health Day. Here governments renew their pledge to provide good health care. People are nudged with respect to the health care and all such things. Now, 2024 World Health Day, what is the theme? So 2024 theme is My Health, My Right. So 2024 theme is My Health, My Right. Fine. Now, moving on in this particular direction. Now, first of all, when we talk about healthcare in the context of India, so public health, it is a state subject. means that it is responsibility of state governments. It is responsibility of state governments to provide the healthcare to the citizens. But it does not mean that the central government does not has any responsibility in this particular direction. Okay, so basically, center government runs many of the flagship schemes where center government assists state governments in providing the good health care. For example, there is National Health Mission. Now, National Health Mission has two parts, that is National Rural Mission and National Rural Health Mission and National Urban Health Mission, where financial support is provided to the states so that they can strengthen their healthcare system. Similarly, we have Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, Ayushman Bharat Abhiyan, Ayushman Bharat Abhiyan. Now, this Ayushman Bharat Abhiyan has two component. Number one is 5 lakh rupees of health insurance and opening of 1.5 lakh, fine, health and wellness centers, So here also center government, provides the financial support. So primarily health is a state subject mentioned in the state list in Schedule 7 of Constitution, of the Constitution, but at the same time, union government assists states with respect to financing, with respect to assistance, with respect to policy making. Okay, this is all about it. Now, guys, when we talk about healthcare, I told you it is not explicitly provided as a fundamental right. But many a places we have reference about good healthcare. And specifically, we have references in DPSP, Directive Principles of the State Policy. Now, DPSP, okay, meanwhile, the ones who are joining for the first time, I want to tell you that this entire PDF that I'm using here, it is available on our Telegram channel. You can just visit Telegram and you can download this PDF free of cost. Link for Telegram is given in the description box in YouTube. Okay, so DPSP, we have certain DPSPs, we have certain articles which talk about health. For example, we have Article 39E. Now, Article 39E, what it says, it directs the state to secure the health of workers. Then we have Article 42. Now, Article 42 talks about the just and humane working condition and maternity relief for mothers. Then we have next one, that is the Article 47. Now, Article 47, what it does? So, Article 47, okay, talks about improving the nutritional level, talks about improving the standard of living, and it talks about to improve the public health. Now, one particular thing, guys, I will advise you all that there are few things that you need to do as a homework. So, what is this particular homework? See this particular thing, that 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Okay, DPSP all articles. Okay, then fundamental duties, all articles. Okay, you should remember them by heart. Why you need to remember them by heart? Because often what happens, you are writing answer for the mains exam, but sometimes you are not able to understand that how I should write introduction. My point is that sustainable developmental goals, DPSP, any theme you are writing answer for GS2, GS3, you will have one SDG talking about it, or you will have some DPSP talking about it, or you will find its reference in the fundamental duty. So my point is that when you are not able to understand how to write an introduction, take some reference from DPSP, take some reference from SDG, frame your introduction around it, but only you will be able to do it when you have these things in your mind. So please do it as a part of your exposure exercise. Okay, now going back, so we have all these particular articles talking about health in the Constitution of India, in the DPSP. Also, Constitution doesn't talks about the health at the level of union and the state. Also, it talks about the health at the level of local institution. For example, under Article 243G, Article 243G, panchayats and municipalities. Okay, the panchayats and municipalities have also been given responsibility to improve the public health. Fine. Now, when we talk about, guys, the health, understand this particular thing, guys, that right now 15th Finance Commission is going on. 15th Finance Commission's recommendation period is going on. And when this 15th Finance Commission was constituted under the chairmanship of N.K. Singh. Now the 15th Finance Commission chairman N.K. Singh has talked extensively about improving healthcare in his reports also. So I am taking some reference from N.K. Singh committee or the 15th Finance Commission committee's report also, not given in the article, but you can take down and note down it in your notes. So it has talked about that health should be shifted to the concurrent list. Just now I told you that health is a subject in the state list, but NK Singh committee said that we should shift it to concurrent list. Why he is saying it? Because, guys, when we talk about concurrent list, on concurrent list, both union as well as state government, they have authority that they can make the law. So what will happen, as union government will get more say in the health, and as it has big pockets, it can make better policies, it can make better laws, and it can better regulate the health ecosystem. So it should be shifted to concurrent list. But then some criticism also comes that it might be seen as going against federalism. So therefore there is a criticism, but this can be one very good suggestions that can be given. Also, what happens, NK Singh committee talked about that there should be developmental finance institutions, okay, developmental finance institutions which specifically are dedicated for healthcare investments. So we have institutions for improving housing, we have a financial institution for infrastructure, but we don't have dedicated financial institution for building more hospitals, building better healthcare. So this is something that he talked about. Also, he talked about that we need to have, on the line of all India services, we need to have an Indian medical service also. Indian medical service also. So this is something that he suggested. Now, within healthcare, what I have done, I have divided all the issues with respect to the healthcare theme wise. So first theme will be of health equity and universal healthcare. First theme is health equity and universal healthcare. Then theme 2 is mental health care. Theme 3 is reforms in private healthcare. So we are going to discuss all the issues that we have, and then, guys, what we are going to do, we are going to see way forward, we are going to see solution. Now beyond this, I don't honestly, I don't believe you need to do anything for the healthcare. Fine. So you will be able to answer all this particular thing. Now, first of all, health equity. Now, guys, there is the idea of universal healthcare. Now, what does the universal healthcare means? This particular idea simply stands for this thing that health is a human right. Health is a fundamental right. Nobody should be denied healthcare simply because he cannot pay. Should not be denied healthcare because he belongs to a particular social group. Doesn't Health should not be denied because a particular person lives in an area where it is unviable to open a hospital, irrespective of anything, irrespective of person's economic status, a person's social status, person's gender, person's political affiliation, particular person's residential status. Health should be provided to all. It should not be denied. So we have the universal health coverage. Now, guys, so basically we talk about now how universal healthcare will be given. Universal healthcare can only be given when there is the health equity. Every person should have equal opportunity to achieve their highest potential of health, no matter what the circumstances are. But today we see that actually there is poverty, there is a discrimination with people on many aspects. Fine, due to which health is limited to only few people. Also, we see this particular thing that actually health, it is not just to get a kind of a treatment in a hospital. Health encompasses a lot of other things also, and health is influenced by a lot of other factors also. For example, health is influenced by healthy diet. Many people, because of poverty, cannot afford healthy diet, and because of that their health is impacted. Health is impacted by clean water. Now, because all the people don't have access to piped drinking water, their health is impacted. Health is impacted by fresh air. Health is impacted by the type of housing you are living in. Because if you are living in housing where there is proper toilet, sanitation impacts the health. So all these particular factors are there. Now, specifically, we have the data from National Family Health Survey 5. Now, National Family Health Survey 5 provide this particular thing that particularly scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, they experience a high child mortality, lower immunization rate. So because of their social reason, what is happening? There is high child mortality, immunization is low. Now this is the social factor where the health is not being provided. Then comes the gender factor. Now when we talk about anemia which occurs due to iron deficiency, 59% of the women, 59% of the women, 59% of the women, what is the situation? They have anemia. Okay. So gender impacts accessibility of health. One, the social status impacts the accessibility of health. Okay. It impacts accessibility of health. Now, also we see this particular thing that the health is also impacted because of the shortage of health, shortage of number of doctors, shortage of hospitals that are there. Number one, when we talk about the doctors, so basically according to WHO data, there are just 0.8 doctors per 1,000 people. At least one doctor needs to be there per 1,000, but we have 0.8 doctors. Due to this, what happens? Health is impacted. After that, we talk about, guys, when now first we have 0.8 doctors, we need to have at least one doctor. And majority of these particular doctors, where they are working in big cities, they are working in metropolitan cities, but majority of people still live in rural areas. Okay, so 75% of the healthcare professionals, they work in metropolitan regions, which account only 27% of population. Okay, so 73% population is living in rural areas, but doctors are not there. So this, because of this particular thing, every person is not able to get good access of healthcare. Universal healthcare is restricted. A, infrastructure is not there. B, medical professionals are not there. C, your social status. D, your gender. It impacts the accessibility to healthcare. And then poverty is also one more which impacts the accessibility to healthcare. Next issue that we have here is the mental health. Now, when we talk about India, guys, India has a dubious distinction in having the highest number of suicides. When we talk about the suicides, according to NCRB, that is National Crime Record Bureau report, it is provided that there was 1.7 lakh people that committed suicide in 2022, which is a very high number, which is misfortunate. Also, it is provided that 41% of suicides that happened, they were committed by young people who are below the age of 30. Now understand this particular thing, guys, that according to United Nations Population Fund, according to UNFPA, that is United Nations Population Fund, we call it as United Nations Population Fund, we write it as UNFPA. UNFPA talks that India is going to enjoy the golden window of demographic dividend. Golden window of demographic dividend. We will get a peculiar benefit because majority of our people are young. Now, when we talk about average age of India, it stands at 28 years. Okay, which is good economically, but at the same time, this young population, they are facing mental health crisis. And because of this mental health crisis that they are facing, we might actually not be able to utilize their full potential. So immediately we need to pay attention to their mental health conditions. Now, it has been provided that when we talk about suicide, often our understanding on suicide is not correct. We think suicide is an independent choice. We think suicide is an independent choice. A person was not able to cope up with the pressure, he committed a suicide. But no, suicide is a multi-dimensional issue. You need to understand that suicide is an interaction between biological, psychological, familial, and social factors. Okay, familial and social factors. All these particular things impacts the mental health, and because of the bad mental health, person often taken these extreme steps such as committing suicide. Also, Also guys, understand this particular thing, that when we talk about suicides, what are the common reasons for which people commit suicide? So here we have certain data here. So basically mental health problems, they aggravate for 54% of suicide. Negative or traumatic family issues, discorded family disputes, okay, marital discords, okay, all such things. 36% of suicides are because of the family discords, family disputes. Then academic stress, 23% of suicides. Often we equate a person's success with the percentage of marks. Are you able to make in IITs or not? Are you able to clear your prelims exam or not? We pin down person's worth with the academic performance, and because of that, large number of youth, they commit suicide. Then social and lifestyle factors, okay. Then violence, 22%, economic distress, 9%, and other relationship factors, 9%. Okay, so these are the reasons for which people commit suicide. So what we need to do, we need to identify these problems from their core, and we need to work on them, and we're going to talk about this in the way forward. The next aspect is certain reforms that are needed in private healthcare. Now understand this particular thing guys, that when we talk about India, out of pocket expenditure in India stands around 56%. Okay, some reports put it at 56%, some reports put it at 60%. Okay, so around 56% to 60% is out of pocket expenditure. Now what does the out of pocket expenditure means? Okay, now suppose 100 rupees are being spent on health. Out of 100, how much money came out of your pocket? Means you spend money on health, but you did not had money. You arranged by selling some gold. You arranged that money by selling your house. You arranged that particular money by taking a loan. So money that has been spent on health, but you did not had that money in your pocket. That is out of pocket expenditure. So out of 100 rupees, if they are being spent on health, 56% is out of pocket expenditure. Means that people are bringing this money by selling gold, by selling their house, by taking the loan. So this is actually the condition. So now understand this thing, that so many people are cannot afford health, but still we have over privatized healthcare. It does not make any logical sense for the country such as India. It doesn't make any logical sense. Now if I give you the data guys, understand this particular thing. Fine, it has been provided that 70% of the uh, private healthcare accounts for 70% of the healthcare utilization in the country. 70% of healthcare that is availed, it is private healthcare. Fine, it leads to high out of pocket expenditure. Pricing in healthcare is not good. Pricing is in healthcare is not transparent. The same hospital is charging different types of prices for the same treatment, for same procedure. Fine, there is no transparency in the pricing in healthcare. We already had come out with clinical establishment rules 2012, and these clinical establishment rule 2012 very clearly specify that all the healthcare providers must display their rates and should charge a standard rate as determined by government from time to time. But what has happened, there is no transparency with respect to the pricing. Now see this thing, it is not the reason that they cannot accept a uniform pricing. They can accept. Just one point I want to tell you guys here, that see, there are many schemes in which government reimburse the private healthcare providers. For example, Ayushman Bharat Abhiyan. I told you, Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, it is also called as the Ayushman Bharat Abhiyan. I told you, under Ayushman Bharat Abhiyan, 5 lakh rupees of health insurance is to be provided. Okay. Now, under this Ayushman Bharat Abhiyan, you can take treatment in government hospital, or you can take treatment in private hospital. Now, you can take treatment in private hospital will get a reimbursement from government. It will get a reimbursement from the government. Now government gives a standard reimbursement. Doesn't matter who took the treatment, government gives a standard reimbursement. So point that I'm trying to raise is that they are accepting the standard reimbursement rates from the government. Then why they cannot have a uniform pricing when poor people come to them? When poor people come to them, why they cannot have a universal pricing? So this universal pricing and transparent pricing is provided in Clinical Establishment Rules 2012, but up till now it has not been implemented. Up till now it has not been implemented. This is a very big concern. Also, it has been provided that it is very important that they should have standard protocols to check irrational healthcare intervention. Often what happens when people reach to the doctors, they suggest unnecessary surgeries, they suggest unnecessary operations, unnecessary treatments, which is unethical. If we take the data, guys, here, just let's take one particular data. So cesarean delivery, C-section deliveries, surgical deliveries in private hospital is stands at 48%. But when we talk about the cesarean deliveries in public hospital, just stands at 14%. So see, it could be like this, that here if it is 14%, here it can be 18%. This is acceptable, but three times more. So why this is the case, that when a woman goes to a private sector hospital, most of the cases, half of the time, they're suggesting C-section delivery. It is because of commercial interest that is there. Okay. Now, way forward. So what can be the way forward in this particular direction? So this way forward, we are going to discuss all the themes that we have discussed above. Now, first, now see, when we talk about healthcare, guys, always we miss one very important component of our society, that is migrant workers. Now, when migrant workers migrate to other states, often they are denied healthcare benefits under many of the state government schemes. Now, understand this thing. We have already discussed that the healthcare is a state subject. Healthcare is a state subject. Now, what state does? State governments, they identify beneficiaries. And most of the time, domicile certificate on the basis of residence beneficiaries are identified. But when a migrant has come here in this particular state for work, when a migrant has come in this particular state for the work, that particular migrant might not be provided healthcare. Migrant might not be provided the healthcare. So therefore, migrants' right to health is always ignored. So therefore, number one, we need to address urban migrants' health needs, and in this direction, reforms are needed. Informal sector workers are to be provided the healthcare. Fine. So this is one thing. There is a need to include the element of mobility and portability of access to healthcare services. Suppose a person is covered in a healthcare scheme in Odisha, now moved to Delhi. So there should be the provision of portability of the healthcare benefits, that okay, now I am not living in Odisha, I will be living in Delhi. In Delhi, I want, then I should be able to, I should be given the healthcare there. After that, there should be the simplification of reimbursement process for reducing the out-of-pocket expenditure. Now understand this particular thing, guys, that suppose there is this person, and this person took a treatment in private healthcare sector. Now we have seen that under Ayushman Bharat Abhiyan, you can take treatment in private healthcare sector. Now on the back end, what will happen? Government will reimburse this hospital. But many times these reimbursements come very late. And because of that, what happened? Private hospitals, they become reluctant. To give the treatment to a poor person under Ayushman Bharat Abhiyan. They'll ask the poor person that we cannot give you, if you want a treatment, you need to pay us. So this reimbursement process needs to be simplified so that out-of-pocket expenditure can be reduced. Fine. Then next thing is that we need to create inclusive health systems which doesn't leaves anybody out. So what needs to be done? Fine. We need to bring private public health care together so that they can identify all the barriers that are there, and those barriers can be reduced. We need to have health management information system dashboard. health management information system dashboard, which will provide all the information with respect to the schemes of the healthcare, all the schemes where government is providing support for the healthcare. And this dashboard, which will provide all the information, should be inclusive, means it should not only be in English, should not only be in Hindi, should be in multiple languages. The next thing that we need is that implement community based primary healthcare, implement community based primary healthcare. Now understand this particular thing, that we can bring NGOs, we can bring civil societies, we can bring public spirited individuals, philanthropic organizations, which can come together and can provide the healthcare. Also it has been provided that we need to raise health literacy in the people. We need to raise health literacy in the people. People should be made aware about their reproductive health. They should be made aware how the sanitation and good health are linked. What are their rights? All this particular thing we need to focus upon. Now, National Health Mission that we have discussed, it already has the component of health education that is to be implemented. The next is that what is needed to be done. Public and private healthcare sector should provide health services to the underprivileged communities. Okay, should emphasize on preventive education, workforce development, infrastructure enhancement in healthcare. Then, okay, already we have discussed this point. Non-governmental organizations, civic societies should be utilized to create awareness with respect to healthcare. The next thing, yes, the next thing that we talk about the healthcare is that we also need to go for international and intergovernmental. We need to go for international collaborations in the healthcare. Okay, we can understand, we can take the lessons from the foreign countries, particularly the Nordic countries, Scandinavian countries, because they have done really good work in the healthcare. So from where we can take the lessons and we can implement it in India. Okay, then what needs to be done? International institutions, World Health Organization, fine, Gavi. Okay, now from these particular initiatives we need to take support. Now they provide all type of support, they provide technical support, they provide funding support. Particularly guys, when we talk about Gavi played a very important role during the pandemic in providing a vaccine to many of the poor countries. So basically, to augment our resources, to get better technical understanding, we can take the help of these international institutions. Then the next, we will talk about the mental health specifically. So this is all about the physical health. Next is mental health. Now we see this particular thing, that when people suffer with mental health, they often resort to extreme things such as suicide. First of all, we need to understand this particular thing, that there is a view that a suicide cannot be prevented. Why? Because it is an individual choice and we cannot predict an individual if he'll commit suicide. So in a room a person can commit suicide, how will stop him? No, we need to break this particular understanding. We need to understand that basically it is a collective phenomena. Why a person commits suicide? Maybe his parents has pinned a lot of hopes on that particular person and a person is not able to deliver. Maybe societal pressures are there, familial pressures is there, academic pressure is there, peer pressure is there. So we need to come together as a society to ensure that such kind of burden should not be imposed. Second, we need to teach young people emotional resilience. We need to teach them problem solving skills, impulse control, how not to take a decision on the basis of temporary emotion. Emotional regulation skills need to be taught to the people, and this should be the part of educational curriculum in school, in colleges. This needs to be taught. Find identification of mental distress. Often people don't even realize that they are facing anxiety, that they are under a depression, and because they don't know, they don't reach for help. So we need to teach people that how they can identify that they are under the emotional distress and they can seek professional help. Also, educational reforms are needed. Often guys, we have seen that a lot of students commit suicide because of academic pressure. Now our examination patterns, our education standards, it assesses a person on the basis of the scores that they are getting. This methodology is redundant, it is to be removed so that academic pressure doesn't lead to suicide. Now, Ministry of Health actually it constituted a task force to come out with a national suicide prevention strategy. Guys, please use these kind of points in your answer. So national suicide prevention strategy, already it has been rolled out, and this particular strategy has a target of reducing suicides by 10% by 2030. Now all the suggestions that has been given in this national suicide prevention strategy should be implemented as soon as possible. This particular strategy, fine, it has recognized that there is a need of collaboration between Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, Information and Broadcasting. Okay, they should come together and should identify triggers that are there which can lead to suicide. After that guys, basically, yes. Now, then further moving on. Okay. After that, there was this particular article that we have discussed with respect to the over privatized healthcare. Over privatized healthcare often leads to the denial of, it leads to the high out of pocket expenditure. Now, we need to understand that there are huge asymmetries of knowledge between patient and hospital. Okay, often bargaining capacity of patient in the front of hospital is very much less, and private hospitals try to take advantage of this particular thing. So we need to recognize the rights, universal rights for patients. In this capacity, every patient should be given every patient should be given right to receive basic information about their condition, the type of treatment, expected cost of care, that how much money you need to spend. Fine, they should be given right to a second opinion, right to informed consent. Fine, if they want to take if we want to, if they are being advised to take a surgery, they should be told all the repercussions of that particular surgery, and only after that their consent should be taken. Confidentiality. Okay, choice of provider for obtaining medicines. Okay, they should be given an option that, okay, like, you have to take a particular medicine, but you can take it from these five dispensaries or something like this. Fine, so right to choosing the medicines need to be given. Also, we need to come out with a patient's right charter, which lists the detailed rights for the patients, and this charter should not be diluted. It should be comprehensive. It should be publicized in all the hospitals so that patients can understand their basic rights. So this is something. Also, commercialized private medical colleges need to be controlled, because medical education is so much expensive. What happened? People from downtrodden section of society are not able to take the medical education. Because I have spent 1 crore rupees in my education, what I am going to do? I am going to charge high fees because I need to recoup my money that I have spent in my education. So commercialization of private medical education needs to be stopped. Expansion of medical education should be focused. Okay, so this is all about it. Okay, so guys, in fact, we have discussed comprehensively the entire health scenario, and I will advise that please download this particular notes and directly use it in your answer. It is pure gold, the type of content that has been given, highly selected content we have used here. Okay, now moving on to the next article. Uh, okay. Sri Lankan PM Shrima's call to Indira Gandhi in 1974 saved the Katchatheevu talks from getting derailed. Now, guys, understand this thing that from past many days, fine, in article, no need to go too much in detail, but from past few days, this Katchatheevu Island issue is there in the news. Okay, Katchatheevu Island issue is there in the news. So we need to understand this entire issue with respect to Katchatheevu. No need to go in political commentaries, no need to go in the statements made by the political leaders. Only academically you need to understand this particular issue. So basically, guys, here we have India. Fine, here we have India. Here there is Sri Lanka. Fine. Now, between India and Sri Lanka, we have this Katchatheevu Island. Katchatheevu Island. It lies very much near the vicinity of Rameshwaram. Rameshwaram. So basically, when we talk about exact location of this particular Katchatheevu Island, it is it is in the Park Strait region. So here we have the Park Strait region. It is located around 33 km from Indian coast, about 62 km southwest of Jaffna. So from it is between the Jaffna and the Rameshwaram. Okay. Now this is a not this is a island which is not suitable for permanent human settlement. Why? Because there is no drinking water on this Katchatheevu island. Now, when we talk about the Katchatheevu island, this particular island was actually disputed between India and Sri Lanka from a very long period of time. And basically, what happened? It was earlier the part of a Madras presidency during the British Raj. Okay, but Sri Lanka said that Katchatheevu island belongs to Sri Lanka. Actually, what happened? There was in 1974 Indo-Sri Lanka Maritime Agreement that was signed. And in this Indo-Sri Lanka Maritime Agreement of 1974, this Katchatheevu island was actually transferred. Katchatheevu island was actually transferred to Sri Lanka. Okay. Now, understand this particular thing, guys, that you might be knowing about United Nations Convention on Law of Seas. United Nations Convention on Law of Seas. Now, United Nations Convention on Law of Seas provides that area up till 1200 nautical miles, from the coast is exclusive economic zone. In this exclusive economic zone, country has a sovereignty on the right on the marine resources that will be there. Now you see this thing. That Katchatheevu Island is, let's say, given to Sri Lanka. So this becomes a part of a Sri Lankan territory. What will happen if this is a part of a Sri Lankan territory? Their exclusive economic zone will extend. And I'll use a different color pen. So what will happen? Their exclusive economic zone will extend. And as their exclusive economic zone will extend, Sri Lanka will get more powers here, and it will come with respect to the fisheries. Now see, there are many of the Tamil Nadu's fishermen who go in this particular region and they catch fish. Now what actually has happened in the past? When the fishermen has went there, they have been arrested because it is said that you have come to the Sri Lanka's territory, and they have been tortured. Their equipments have been seized. So therefore, it has become a socio-economic crisis in the Sri Lanka. It has become a socio-economic crisis in the India. Okay. So 1976, additional agreement was made that prevented both countries from fishing in each other's exclusive economic zone. Katchatheevu position at this particular boundary, and it causes a lot of ambiguity. Now, when we talk about government in 2013 made this clear that the issue of reclaiming the Katchatheevu is irrelevant because no territory was relinquished. It was said that it was a boundary dispute that has been solved. We have not given the territory. It was a boundary dispute that has been resolved. Fine. Also, in Union government in 2022 pointed out that Katchatheevu lies on the Sri Lankan side of India-Sri Lanka maritime boundary. Right now, the matter is still going in Supreme Court, and we need to see that what will happen now. So this is, guys, all about the Katchatheevu. So rather going in the political commentaries, rather than going in political statements that are made around here, what I will suggest you that you need to academically understand this particular issue. So that is all, guys, about it. And now we'll move to next article. US, Britain, Australia mulling expansion of AUKUS security pact to counter China. Okay. Now, this particular article we are going to see with respect to GS paper number 2, international affairs, international issues. So, this particular article talks about the expansion of AUKUS. First of all, let's discuss that what this AUKUS is all about, and then we'll go in the expansion of the AUKUS. So, AUKUS, it is a trilateral group, means that it is a grouping between three countries, that is Australia, UK, US. Now there's a grouping of these three countries, and as a part of this AUKUS, what happened? USA and UK will provide the nuclear submarine technology to Australia. Submarines which are nuclear powered submarines we are talking about. This technology will be provided to Australia as the part of AUKUS. Now, basically what is happening, if we see Australia, it is a country in the Indo-Pacific region, and as US is giving such sensitive technology to Australia, China says that this all is happening against us. It is an alliance against China's actions in the South China Sea. Okay, this is something that is there. Now, these three countries, US, UK, and Australia, they are talking about expansion of AUKUS, and they are bringing the other partners in this AUKUS, and they are deciding to bring Japan, Okay, so they are trying to bring the Japan. Now, basically, by this, it is becoming more anti-China kind of an initiative, because again, Japan also have certain issues with respect to the China. Also, basically what has happened, these AUKUS country, they say that we are also going to expand the horizon of AUKUS. Until now, what was horizon of AUKUS? Nuclear powered submarine technology will be transferred to Australia, but now they want to go beyond it. So now they say that pillar 2 in AUKUS will be discussed. What is this pillar 2? Countries under the AUKUS, they will jointly be developing quantum computing, undersea 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 exploration technologies, hypersonic technology, artificial intelligence technology, cyber technology. They'll explore this. They'll explore this. Okay. They say that they are not expanding the first pillar, that is nuclear capable submarines. They are bringing a new pillar, and new areas will be expanded here. That is all about it. Now, when we talk about AUKUS, India is not the part of AUKUS. India is not the part of AUKUS. And there is one article that also came last year which talked about that actually India not being part might indicate that India is basically, as India is not being included, as it is India is not being included, it is good as well as concern for India both. Good, because guys, this has a more overt military ambitions, and if India would have been the part of it, okay, India might face certain backlash from China. India has a boundary with China. Fine. So India should not involve in any such kind of a venture which directly will invite China's backlash. This is good thing. Second, we are not being made part of AUKUS means that India is being sidelined, but it has its own both pros and cons, positives and negatives. Then next, Election Commission data show number of women candidates grew 16-fold from 1957 to 2019. Now, this particular article, guys, we are going to discuss with respect to GS paper number 2, women's participation in politics, women participation in politics. Now, here, guys, we are going to use the data which you can use in your examination. Now, this particular data has been given by Election Commission of India. Now, Election Commission of India provides the data, says that in 1957, there were just 45 women candidates who contested Lok Sabha election. In 2019, fine, there were 726 women that contested Lok Sabha election. So their number has went up, which is a good thing. Also, it has been provided that percentage of women who actually got elected in parliament, their number has also increased. It was 4.5% in 1957, and this number has become 4.4% in 14.4% in 2019. Okay. Now, it has been provided that the number of men contesting multiplied 5 times, but the number of women contesting, their number multiplied 16 times. Fine. Also, it has been provided that in 1957, 2.9% of candidates were women. 2019, 9% of the total candidates were women. Okay. So, this is something that has happened. However, when we talk about success rate has come down. For example, it is provided that in 1957, 45 women contested election, 22 won. So success rate was 48.8%. But today, success rate has declined to 10.74%. 726 contested election, only 78 won in 2019 Lok Sabha election. But the percentage rate is coming down. It is because that more candidates are there. Number of candidates has also increased. So this is, guys, with respect to the women's participation in politics. Please use these particular data in answers, because this year we have also passed the Women Reservation Act, which provides a 33% seats for the women. So there is a possibility that question on this particular line can be asked. So you should be prepared about such thing, and please have this data, use it. So that is all, guys, about this. And with this, we come to an end to the today's session. I hope, guys, that you have liked this video, and please download the PDF notes from the Telegram channel, and please do comment the video. Fine, comment on the video. Also, please do like the video if you have liked it. That is all. Now we'll meet tomorrow. Till then, take care of yourself.